certainly in the 18th and early 19th century, this family would have had a much bigger garden, but, you know, maybe a part of it would have been this very typical 4 square raised beds. We don't know that for sure, but it would be very common. And of course, an ornamental yucca in the middle of it. We've already picked several things. I was just shovel tilling here, which was turnips. And over there where I planted some more turnips on the other side of the carrot bed, that was onions. There were several other areas of onions too, but I had mostly that bed with onions. And you know, depending on how late it stays warm, I might just use the turnips as a bit of a cover crop or something. I did that last year. You know, I might just till it in. Around the borders is all herbs, and except for the Swiss chard over on the side and some kale that I just planted. And that was initially all asparagus. This garden is just 4 years old, so last year, the 3rd year, we were eating a lot of asparagus, but for whatever reason, I don't know what, it all died this past winter, except for a few little sprigs, and I transplanted them all up to the end, and then of course didn't touch them. So it looks like the first year of asparagus right now. But maybe next year we'll be able to eat that.
So I see you have comfrey there in the corner.
Comfrey and echinacea next to that, and some a couple bushes of hyssop there with a feverfew in the middle.
Nice.
And that the feverfew, I mean the hyssop that's next to the echinacea, is actually a volunteer from the one on the corner. We didn't have anything to do with that. It just sprung up.
Sprung up by itself.
And then horehound, lovage. I just trimmed back the lovage a little bit today. You know how that just kind of dies back. And then oregano and thyme.
I can smell it.
Yeah, lovage is very powerful.
Doing really well over here. Hi, honey.
And next to that thyme was, as you can kind of see, a huge bed of parsley, and it had gotten so leggy and so long. I actually just wrapped it back about 4 or 5 days ago, and it's already coming back.
Look how thick those stems are for that parsley.
Because I really never trimmed it except to maybe take the seed heads off, you know, over the rest.
I never saw that thick before in the stalk.
Yeah, it was, you know, 4 feet tall. It was just a bit too much.
Right.
The main difference here is they wouldn't have had a raised bed.
They very well could have. Still very popular, certainly in the first half of the 19th century. And as I was saying earlier, we don't know if they did, and if they did, it could well have been as a part of their garden. Their garden was much bigger than this, so. But, you know, they could have had part being a 4 square thing like this. Because, that was still quite popular. And where these cucumbers are, that was peas. And of course, they are an early crop, so we harvest them early, and I just made 2 little mounds.
Nice.
And really planted the cukes just to cover that area up. And today I saw the first 1.5-inch long cucumber.
So exciting.
You know, the first week of September. A bunch.
And
okra that I picked a whole bunch of okra today. And, you know, it's growing so fast that sometimes I'll take the real long ones, which I think I took them all off of here.
Yeah, I see it.
And some that are really long that would be a little too woody maybe for our taste. I'll feed to the pigs. You know, even like some of these, that might not be too bad.
Right.
You know, once they get kind of big. And then we'll take the little fingerlings for us.
Nice.
And I think, yes, back under here where I now have some more beets and stuff, this was onions here also. And last year I think it was carrots.
What is this here?
That is a type of radish. It's called a long white icicle.
Yeah.
It grows very quickly.
Nice. Very good.
And this yucca flowered beautifully this year.
Like you got some seed pods, huh?
And quite a bit.
Yeah.
And this empty bed was all beans this year, and I've just replanted a couple rows of spinach there that's just starting to come up, and that's lettuce right there.
Nice.
And a couple things of spinach. And the beans, we always plant the same sorts of beans. Since this is an 1820 garden, we plant October beans as a bush bean, and then Lazy Housewife as a pole bean.
Where do you get your seeds at?
You know, I don't know where they came from this year. I know Seed Savers has Lazy Housewife because I was just reading
I'm a member.
our thing. We are too at home,
Yeah.
and hopefully the museum will be shortly.
Great.
And you know, we were really, I wanted to get the vines out of here really quickly. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but we had a really good bean crop, but we really were infested with those Mexican bean beetles.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really know what to do about them. But I was going to read up on that. Oh, and more mint around the outside, and valerian over there near the corner, and a little lavender that came out from, it died totally back last winter. It was just a dry, dead-looking root, and it's come back.
It sure has.
And then the iris is next to it. I just planted a couple little plant. You know, I cut them off like you do, so they were just little fans, and they've started to grow nicely. So maybe next year they'll flower.
Nice. I love irises. Your lavender's looking nice and healthy. There's the valerian.
The valerian was huge also, with big white flowers. You know how it looks kind of like Queen Anne's lace when it gets really long, but you know, I finally cut those back.
Nice. Very good. And over here, you've got sage?
Sage, yeah, and then next to the sage is hops that we transplanted from the English garden. In fact, a lot of these herbs were transplanted into this garden from the English garden here at the museum.
Wow. So these are the hops, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. You have lamb's ear?
Little lamb's ear there.
Uh-huh. And what do you have here?
And that's kale that I just planted. I was surprised it came up within about 2 days.
Nice. That really popped up fast. The conditions must be perfect for it.
And that was, we had a lettuce crop grow quickly there. And you know what I did? This soil still needs so many amendments. I don't know if it helped too much, but the lettuce, we had so much of it that even though we were eating it before it totally went to seed, when it started to get a little better, I chopped it all up and I tilled the lettuce into the soil right here. And maybe that helped the kale come up.
You did some composting.
Get more organic matter. The tomatoes we grow are a type called Genevese.
Yeah.
And they were grown by Thomas Jefferson at Monticello. So we know that they would be appropriate.
For this time
and
period.
I'm sure I didn't even get them all today.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Pretty.
And they are a very good tasting one, and they are all coming on at pretty much the same time.
Right. Oh yeah, those are nice. I like your tomato poles too. Those are authentic.
Yeah, when the
trees.
I just took these out of the out of the woods, and I guess like a lot of folks, I always start off with a couple steaks and think, well, that's pretty good. And then as soon as they start growing, you add one more, and then another one, and then pretty soon you have steaks everywhere.
That's right. And your tomatoes are taken off. They like this spot.
They really are.
They're happy.
And in front of them is more okra. That I did pick some today, but there's still some long ones on there.
Yeah.
And again, the real long ones will feed to the pigs, and we'll save this stuff for us.
Nice.
And some beets are still in. We've been eating a lot of beets.
Oh yeah.
But this is just a little bit that's left.
Yeah. The beets are prolific here. And you have something coming out, a gourd.
That is a gourd, and this is a bottle gourd. And I planted one mound, knowing that it would make harvesting tomatoes difficult. But we did it anyway, and we haven't grown these in about 4 years.
Wow.
But this produces...
Wow.
This is just one, and this is not the biggest one.
Look at that. Wow.
And these will get quite a bit bigger.
Nice.
And then this is the type of gourd that when it dries, it hardens, and you can, depending on the shape, you can make drinking ladles, bowls. Here's a real big one.
Oh, yeah.
And the larger ones we have made here at the museum.
Nice.
A guy that used to work here, Dave Landis, made several old-time banjos. And banjos, originally, of course, being an American instrument, first made by African slaves, based on African instruments, with a gourd body. And that's what he did. He grew these bottle gourds on our 1850 farm. And then a larger one of these, we cut the bottom, and that bowl with a skin head and a wooden neck becomes a banjo.
Nice.
So we might be able to do that again.
That'd be cool to do that, wouldn't it?
But it is a monster plant taking over everything.
It is. It is. I'm going to do a little span of your garden here. And 30 seconds until I have 10 minutes of it. And that's what I can put up on YouTube.
Oh, that's great. That's great you do that.
And then you can inspire other people with your marvelous garden here. This is at the 1840s house?
1820.
1820
The
house.
majority of which were built in 1773, but I think our garden is probably more similar to 1820 than